It's still cold and it's still pissing down, but there's no rest for the wicked, and there's a bike out there that requires my assistance, and to be honest with you, I don't mind. Welcome back, let's do this. So as you know, I've just resurrected the Kawasaki ZL600 Eliminator, and that turned out pretty good, I think. Purchased two bikes from the same guy. They were just left abandoned in his shed, in his garden, in his storage, whatever he had. He did promise me that the Kawasaki was working, there was nothing wrong with it, the engine anyway. He wasn't lying, there was no evidence of it, but he wasn't lying. And he did promise me that this bike I got over here, I purchased at the same time last summer, not this summer, but the summer before that. It was also working. He did promise me that 2 years ago he had it on the road, up and running. He just left it in his garden, and that was it. Well, I'm hoping again that was the case, and I'm hoping the bike is in working order. But the way I'm looking at it right now, I really have my doubts. Do you know what it is? Well, let's have a look. And yeah, if you think the previous bike was a piece of shit I had over here, well, wait till you see this one. Maybe some of you can tell me what it is by the front mudguard or the rear mudguard over here with beautifully broken indicator. By the way, if you can't fix anything with a duct tape and what it seems like a Gorilla Glue, then it's probably not worth fixing. I'm guessing that is the case over here. That's obviously failed. It will need replacing. So what do you reckon? Do you know what it is yet? I also got some parts over here because none of these parts were attached to the bike. I did remove them, did some work on it. Got the fuel filter over here. So what do you reckon? What is the bike? Come on, you should know by now. And yes, I got a bike in parts. I got a box of parts for it. I guess the toolbox was free of charge when I got the bike, so hey, great. But there you go. If you don't believe the bike was from the same guy, there you go, that's a proof. Kawasaki had these parts, you know, this steampunk shit on it, the fucking rad bike shit kind of thing. So there it is. It's all over this bike. Obviously we need to deal with that, which we will at some point. But I got the panels, which will require probably replacement, unless I can service them. Well, they are broken off, so we'll see what I can do. And there's some other parts, and that should be the biggest giveaway. You should know by now what this bike is. Got some other parts, bits and bobs staying right there. So yeah, everybody's nightmare, get a motorcycle as a box of parts. Do you want to see what it is? Well, let's have a look. There it is. That piece of shit is a... No, hang on a second, that's a Harley Davidson. There it is. Sorry, got confused. This piece of shit, yes, of course, it's a bike that needs no introduction. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you Yamaha Virago XV535, the very European model. Yeah, apologies for the lack of room in the garage. I'm squeezing in between. I've got the wheels for my truck. I just need to give them some good clean and touch up the paint in spaces. I'm getting to replace them at some point. Sizable 20-inch tires. Anyway, this is not important. What's important is this little thing. Look at that. The bike, as I said, needs no introduction. Unfortunately, it's a very poor condition. It's a Yamaha Virago XV535, very popular model. Everybody knows the Virago. The Yamaha Virago was outselling Harley Davidson Sportster back when it was first released in America from Japan. It was produced as a main competition to the 883 Sportster back in the day, or whatever the model that was in there, and it was really outselling it big time. It was smaller, it was more affordable. It was one of the first cruiser chopper style kind of bike back in the day. Fantastic little design for what it was. Everybody had the Virago. Come on, hands up who didn't have a Virago. It's like a band-aid, you know. Everybody had the Virago at one point. If you didn't have a Virago, you came across it, you saw it, you owned it, you rode it, you hated it, whatever it is. This bike is like a fucking Michael Jackson of the music industry. If you don't love it, you hate it, but you know what it is. It's that kind of bike, you know. Everybody knows what a Virago is. And I did own a Virago at one point in my life. I did. Friend of mine very rightfully said, Virago can't even pull a foreskin of your dick because it's got no power. You know what? There is something about it. Maybe you can't pull a foreskin of your dick because it has no power, but it's got some kind of spirit. It's got some kind of rock and roll about this little bike. There are different versions, 750, 1100s, but this 535 probably was the most popular model in the market. I didn't do much work on it. I just stripped it down. I changed the spark plugs. I installed new air filter, as I always do. I put a brand new battery in there. I free up the rear brake and remove the front brake at the moment because it's seized up. It wouldn't even free wheelie anywhere. And I double check there's an oil in that engine, and it is. Obviously that will be replaced at some point. Took the carbs off. I put them back on. They did need a little bit of cleaning. There was some residue down there, but petrol residue, nothing too exciting. It was just a bit discolored. Other than that, they were pretty decent condition. So I'm hoping with all this I can pump some fresh petrol to the dummy, well, not even dummy petrol tank. I'm going to bypass the dummy petrol tank. For some of those who don't know the Virago, this petrol tank over there, which lends, well, the petrol tank is supposed to be, it's a kind of a dummy petrol tank. It only holds about, I don't know, 2 liters of petrol. There's really nothing in there. It's got 2 hoses that run underneath the seat, and that's the main petrol tank that holds, I don't know, 15 liters, probably not even that, 12 liters, I don't even know. So you got return and the main pipe over here, and that's the main petrol tank. From here you got a hose that runs to a petrol pump, which is located here, and petrol pumps it all the way to the carburetors right there. So it is a bit like a VMAX kind of design. You got a main petrol tank down there, with the difference is you don't tank it here, you put your petrol in here, well, in there, which sits over here, and then it gets distributed to the main petrol tank, which is underneath your ass. So you sit in the gasoline, you sit in the petrol. Great idea, Yamaha, but it fucking works. It works. I'm gonna bypass this little tank. Already prepped the hose. I'm gonna dunk it in my little canister of petrol, in my little jerry can, and see whether you can get this thing started. Wish me luck. Right guys, you don't want to try this at home? Well, if you do have a fire extinguisher around you, don't fucking do what I do. I'm stupid, it's my fucking problem. Anyway. That was a petrol pump initiating, pumping, which is good. By the way, same noise you can get from a VMAX 1200. The VMAX ahead over there, it does the same thing. You start the engine, well, start the ignition, and it clicks like this, which means it's pumping petrol, which is a good thing. Yeah, and let's hope we're gonna give it some choke. And let's hope should be up and running. How cool is that? How fucking cool is that? Haha! Fucking happy days. Fucking thank you. That's why I fucking love old school Japanese bikes. I mean, you can't fucking beat that. Honest of God, that's the first time I tried to start it. Got new spark plugs, cleaned the carbs, put new air filter in it, brand spanking new. It's a fresh petrol. That is it. I check other bits, but you know, I can't run through the gears because I got no brakes on the bike. I'm guessing the clutch, it's not disengaging, because when you open the left hand side engine case oil cap, you can see the clutch over there. So the clutch, the basket, kind of the main plate is disengaging, but the other plates that sit in the clutch, they sit together. So you got a plate coming apart, but the other plates don't follow. So it means they probably stuck. I mean, the bike's been sitting out there for a while. I don't want to put it in the gear in the garage and the bike just launches forward. But there are ways of unstucking it. I haven't confirmed it yet. I'm guessing that's the case. But other than that, the engine runs pretty smooth. Yes, I need to test it properly, but that is a big success. That means I can carry on, put the brakes on this bike, invest some money, and take it for a spin before we do anything else. So I'm sure the engine is operational. That's the thing about the Barky community. I mean, I never met this guy before in my life, you know. I just came in there, I saw he's advertising in 2 bikes for sale. I made him an offer, he accepted it, whatever reason. And he told me, he said, mate, they're not running right now, they dead. I've not been riding, you know, for 2 years, but they've been working. This one is up and running, this one requires some TLC, but I've rode them less than 2 years ago. They've been on the road, both of these bikes. So yeah, I took his word for it. He could have been completely bullshitting me. I don't know that. You know, it took me over a year to get them bike to this point. But biker to biker, I said, mate, I trust you. You know, see what happens. And I hope he wasn't lying to me. And there we are. By the way, if he even did lie to me, I mean, mate, don't know if you're watching. If you are, thank you very much. But he was a big guy. I mean, I turned up there with my truck. I loaded them bikes in the back of my truck, which is 4-inch lift already. You know, it's quite high. And I would never ever done it myself. They're quite heavy bikes for one person. So we got them halfway there, the bike got stuck on the tipping point, and the guy just got behind it and just lifted this bike by himself, you know, both of them, the Virago and the Eliminator. I just lifted like this, I got it, mate, and they pushed in the back of my truck. And I was like, whoa. Even if he did lie to me, there was nothing I can do about it, because I'm not gonna go over there, knock on his door and say, hey mate, you lied to me. He would just like, boom. Doesn't matter. Anyway, the bikes are up and running. Hopefully we can get this bike up and running completely very, very soon. Right guys, I'm not gonna bore you with any more information. This is what it is. We got a bike and it's up and running, and I'm super happy about it. I've done some work off the camera, as you've seen. I'm gonna do some more work off the camera. I need to sort out the brakes. Need to obviously change the oils in it, and then obviously rebuild the fucking forks. Seems like every fucking bike I've got they needs forks rebuilding. The forks are leaking, the seals needs replacing. It's just my luck, but hey, that's not the end of the world. It's time consuming, and luckily it's not very expensive when you can do it yourself. Yeah, that's about it. I'll be working with this bike a little bit more, and I'll hit you up with an update as soon as I can, because I'm trying to get this bike up and running as within a month, hopefully. I know it's a bit ambitious, but we'll see what happens. And yes, obviously, by the end of that trip, we're gonna have a massive, good fucking paint job. Let's see what happens. Guys, thank you very much for watching. Rock hard, have a bee, and we'll see you very soon.